Hello and welcome everyone, it's me, TheLaval, also known as the Power Tool Duelist, back for you with another video and another episode of Straight Out of the Toolbox. Since last week we took a look at Red Eyes, I thought it was only appropriate if we were taking a look at Blue Eyes this week. Starting off the main deck, of course, are 3 Blue Eyes White Dragon, one of the most iconic monsters the card game has ever seen and probably the most iconic card this game has ever seen. I'm using the Dark Side of Dimensions artwork because I think it's the best one, also because it's probably one of the first ones where the dragon is actually white. But yeah, going on, we have more Dark Side of Dimensions cards in the form of Deep Eyes White Dragon. When a face-up Blue Eyes monster you control is destroyed by battle or a card effect, and you have a dragon type monster in your graveyard, you can special summon it from your hand and inflict 600 to your opponent for each dragon type monster in your graveyard, with different names. And if he is normal or special summoned, target a dragon in your graveyard, this card's attack becomes equal to that monster's. And if this thing on the field is destroyed by a card effect, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. He's kinda neat. Sometimes if your Chaos Max or your just vanilla Blue Eyes gets run over, gets outed by anything, it's neat to just slap a Deep Eyes on the board, burn your opponent for maybe 12, 1800, and then just keep another big body on the board. Going into the next card, we play 3 Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must be first be special summoned from your hand. By revealing a Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand, and you can only special summon this card once per turn this way. This card's name becomes Blue Eyes White Dragon while it's on the field or in the graveyard, and once per turn you can target a monster your opponent controls, destroy it. This card cannot attack, the turn this effect is activated. You easily get alternative White Dragon on the board. If you draw into Melody of Awakening Dragon, you can basically fetch a alternative and a vanilla Blue Eyes to directly get him on the board. And yeah, his removal effect is also really nice and helps you with clearing the boards. Then I play 2 Dragon Spirit of White. This card is always treated as a Blue Eyes card, and that die needs to be there. Don't know why they didn't call it the Blue Eyes Dragon Spirit of White, but anyways. He's treated as a normal monster while in the hand or in the graveyard, and when he is normal or special summoned, you can target a spell or trap your opponent controls and banish that target. If your opponent controls a monster, quick effect, tribute him, and special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand. Need back row removal, you can go into him of your White Stone of Ancients, and then maybe tag him out with the Blue Eyes you got in your hand, which is kinda neat. Then I do run the 1 Blue Eyes Solid Dragon. If he is normal or special summoned, you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls and negate that monster's effects. And when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can shuffle him from the field into the deck, and if you do, you special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck. You can only use each effect of Blue Eyes Solid Dragon once per turn. Also a neat target you can summon off White Stone of Ancients, and definitely something cool. Then I do main deck 3 Gamisia, the Sea Turtle Kaiju, as this is mostly going second focus, because we play the big Chaos Max boy over here, and we do run triple Tradons, so he is sometimes just need removal, sometimes he's need Tradon fodder, and sometimes he just bricks in your hand. But that's the nature of Blue Eyes, I guess. Yeah. Then, as mentioned, we do play the White Stone of Ancients. I do play a rather slim lineup of the level 1 tuners. I do just run the 2 White Stone of Ancients, which once per turn during the end phase, if he is in your graveyard, because it was sent there this turn, you can special summon a Blue Eyes monster from your deck, and you can banish him from the grave, then target a Blue Eyes monster from your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use this effect of White Stone of Ancients once per turn. The second effect kinda need sometimes to maybe recur an alternative dragon to slap back on the board, but the first effect is something that you are definitely looking forward to using. Because just sending him to the graveyard and getting into a Blue Eyes monster in your end phase is rather neat. Yeah. Then I play 3 of the original White Stone of Legend, because I do like searching Blue Eyes. If he's sent from the field if he's sent to the graveyard in any way, shape or form, you can add a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand. Really simple deck thinning. Milling him of your Melody of Awakening Dragon definitely nets you the additional Blue Eyes, in addition to maybe searching alternative and a Chaos Max Dragon, which is really cool. Then, as mentioned, we do play 3 Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. you can only ritual summon him with chaos form, and he must be ritual summoned. Your opponent cannot target him with card effects, also cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, and if he attacks a defense position monster, inflict double piercing damage. He does one thing really well, and that is being big and hitting really hard. And that's something I can definitely appreciate, so I do prefer running the Chaos Max build a bit more. 1-for-1. Good card, I've heard. Yeah, just getting out some stones or maybe discarding some of your bigger monsters to get a stone on the board that maybe you want to link off into a Linkuriboh is rather neat. Then we do play 3 Return of the Dragon Lords with an awful amount of bricks, just like this deck is running. You definitely want some recursion, and the extra added protection from return definitely helps your monsters to keep pushing for that OTK. As mentioned, triple trade-in, discard a level 8, draw 2 cards. Neat thing. 2. Melody of Awakening Dragon, discard a card and add up to 2 dragon-type monsters with 3000 or more attack and 2500 or less defense from your deck to your hand. Sadly, Solid Dragon and Dragon Spirit of White do not fall under this category, and Deep Eyes does not have a stat line. So your main targets are Alternative, Blue Eyes, and Chaos Max. 1 Foolish Burial. I did not include Dragon Shrine actually. Because I feel like I don't run enough graveyard-focused things in this deck, and I feel like Synchro or Fusion builds do perform better with this. This is kind of ritual-focused, I guess. So yeah. 3 Bingo Machine Go. Reveal 3 cards from your deck that each meets at least one of the criteria listed below, and your opponent picks one randomly to add to your hand. The criteria being that it's a Blue Eyes monster, or that it is a spell or trap card that specifically lists the card Blue Eyes White Dragon or Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, except Bingo Machine Go. Just a neat way, fetching Chaos Form, Chaos Max, Alternative Dragon, or just a White Stone, which is great. Then, of course, playing 3 Chaos Forms is used to ritual summon any Chaos or Blackluster Soldier ritual monster. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field and or banish Blue Eyes White Dragon or Dark Magician from your graveyard, whose total levels exactly equal the level of Chaos or Blackluster Soldier ritual monsters you ritual summon. Summoning Chaos Max of this by banishing a Blue Eyes from the grave is rather neat, and if you do not draw into one of these or you do not search them, I do run 2 advanced rituals to help with that. The extra deck is difficult, because I do not see myself going into many of these cards, except maybe the Twin Burst Dragon or the Hope Harbinger, sometimes one of the Synchros, Azure Eyes or Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, and the Linkuribohs. This extra deck is mostly just cards you can make, Star Eater for example, Leo, but I think like the Twin Burst Dragon, which is a contact fusion with 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons, cannot be destroyed by battle, can make up to 2 attacks on monsters, and at the end of the damage step, when he attacked a monster and that monster was not destroyed by battle, you can banish that opponent's monster. So he's definitely cool for that. The Azure Eyes Silver Dragon takes a tuner and a non-tuner. If you special summon until the end of the next turn, neither player can target dragon monsters you currently control with card effects, although they cannot be destroyed by card effects, and once per turn during your Stamper phase, you can revive a normal monster from your graveyard. He's great, gives you some neat protection, and you mostly want to summon him of this guy, Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. 1 tuner and a non-tuner Blue Eyes make a monster that with the effect of neither player can special summon 2 or more monsters at the same time, hard countering Pendulum at this point. Once per turn during either player's turn, when an effect of a card in the graveyard is activated, you can negate that activation, and during either player's turn, you can tribute him and special summon 1 light dragon type synchro monster from your extra deck in defense, except Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, but destroy it during the end phase of this turn. Summoning Azure Eyes of this, and of course protects Azure Eyes Azure Eyes protects itself from being destroyed in the end phase, which is rather neat. Then just some other neat level 9 synchros, I guess. Galaxy has Full Armor Photon, Galaxy has Cypher. Hope Harbinger is neat, puts up a spell effect with 2 level 8s and also can redirect attacks to him. Felgrand also kinda neat to negate a monster effect. Or just make one of your cards unaffected. I don't know. The Borreload's probably just here for the swag. But then the 2 Linkuribohs to get your white stones off the field either to search a blue eyes or just summon a blue eyes monster in the end phase, which is rather neat. And then in the extra deck, if you want to go a more synchro focused or maybe more combo heavy build, you can definitely include more of the level 1 blue eyes tuners. Master with Eyes of Blue, Sage with Eyes of Blue, or Maiden with Eyes of Blue are all amazing cards, and I don't know how desirable the Field Spell Mausoleum of White is, because it lets you normal summon one level 1 light tuner monster in addition to your normal summon or set. Kinda neat, I guess, in a more combo based build, but in general I feel like those tuners are kinda neat if you wanna go a more synchro focused route. Then you have another ritual monster in the form of Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon, also gets summoned by using Chaos form, or and it must be ritual summoned, and your opponent cannot target him with card effects. Also, he cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And if he was ritual summoned using Blue Eyes White Dragon, when it declares an attack, you can change the battle positions of as many monsters your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, the attack and defense of those changed monsters becomes 0. Also, this turn, if this card attacks the defense position monster, inflict piercing damage. Main combo if you run him is you want to make him and you want to make Chaos Max, but you want to make him using a Blue Eyes. So he attacks, changes everything to defense, and switches everything to 0. And then Chaos Max just swings into anything for 8,000 damage, which is kinda neat. Then, another opportunity you do have with Blue Eyes is a fusion focus build with Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. He takes, just as the original, 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons, and at the end of the damage step, if he is the only face-up card you control, and this fusion summon card attack, you can send a Blue Eyes fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, and he can attack again in a row. You can use this effect of Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon up to twice per turn, which basically means if you make him turn 2 after you outed your opponent's board, you are basically able to just swing for game. Also, during either player's turn, when a card effect is activated, targets a Blue Eyes monster you control, you can banish him from the graveyard to negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. Kinda neat. Of course, going with that Polymerization and Dragon's Mirror, I've seen an OCG card, Deep of Blue Eyes, which makes Polymerization a bit more easy to include. Usually, I do not want to include OCG cards in these profiles, but just something to keep in mind if you want to test with this. Then the one Dragon's Mirror, just a neat fusion spell for any dragon focused deck in general, and then capping off some tech choices is Silver's Cry, a quick play spell that lets you target a dragon normal monster in your graveyard and special summon that target. Yeah, and this has been it for the list, so let's get into those profiles and see what Blue Eyes does with the bot. So, here we are in the first replay. You just see me going second, as mentioned, more going second focused list, summoning the alternative just here, activating trade-in, drawing into 2 more cards, going into Blue Eyes, alternative effect, pops the Link Slayer that carries the Moon Mirror Shield, because that card is a pain in the butt. I do decide to not get in the extra 1500 damage. I just protect my Twin Burst Dragon with the Return of the Dragon Lords here. He tries to steal it but cannot attack with it, and that basically enables me to easily go for game by making a Chaos Max on turn 4. This deck just hits really hard, but that is probably to be expected from a deck that is run by a guy that is obsessed with power in the anime. So yeah, using multiple 3k buddies just really easily enables you to get some pain onto your opponent. You see me here stalling a bit with the Linkuriboh, as I did not draw that well. Changing the Boot Stagger to 1 to 0, and he will make a Decode Talker and pass. So, I will just tribute over that thing. Get the Linkuriboh back on the board, pass the turn, end phase, White Stone, summon Blue Eyes Solid Dragon, negating Link Spider, and passing there. He goes into the battle phase. My Linkuriboh will negate his attack with the Gami Seal. I just use the Advanced Ritual Art to get a Chaos Max out. Foolish Burial, White Stone of Ancients, Return of the Dragon Lords, going for Blue Eyes, another Blue Eyes. Entering battle phase, he flips the mirror force, and here I forgot I have Return of the Dragon Lords in my graveyard, which means I could have basically gone for game this turn already. But yeah, sometimes it's easy to forget the topmost card in your graveyard, and I am definitely not used to having such good protection cards. But yeah, this is basically a win-win situation. He can't do anything against this amount of dragons. And then just one sweet little final replay. I think I do resolve a Deep Eyes White Dragon in this game. Grabbing a Blue Eyes Chaos Max, sending White Stone, summoning Solid Dragon, to which he basically has no response, which will mean that I am going to enter battle, swing into his monster. He will normal summon, activate a Torrential. I will just use the Solid Dragon, swap it out with the Blue Eyes, activate the Deep Eyes in hand. Deep Eyes burns for 12 and gets Blue Eyes attack power. That's what I meant with the Gamir Seals. That's why I said that these things can get kinda bricky. Yeah. This is probably not what you want to see. This is why I can definitely see people cutting Gamir Seal down at 2, but I just felt like I needed the extra trade on targets, so yeah. But this will be game, and yeah. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Straight Out of the Toolbox. Just as always, definitely leave a comment, like, or subscribe, depending on what you felt. And I will thank you guys very much for watching, just as always, and I will see you guys next time. But until then, goodbye.